Hi, I'm Andre, and this is the spoilers review for Smurfs The Lost Village. Don't watch this if you don't want to be spoiled by Smurfs The Lost Village. I would hate to spoil this story for you. I did do a no spoilers review, but this is the spoilers review. Well, kind of spoilers review, because it's spoilers that you probably already know. If you saw the last trailer, if you've seen any of the commercials for Smurfs The Lost Village, then you already know what the spoiler is, but I still felt like it was a spoiler, so I saved it, even though Sony decided to just put it right out there front and center for you in their latest pieces of advertising. Sony just has this history of just spoiling their movies in the trailers, but luckily they learned from their mistake from Smurfs The Lost Village, and they never did it again. Isn't that right, Spider-Man Homecoming trailer? Shade. So in Smurfs The Lost Village, like I said in the previous video, Smurfette finds out that there is a lost village out there in the forest. Papa Smurf, of course, is like, you can't go out there, it's too dangerous, I forbid it, you stay here, and of course they sneak out. The lost village is on the other side of the forest. There's this giant wall in the forest that won't allow them to go to the other side. To see what's over there. We're gonna build a wall. We're gonna build a wall in Smurf Village. No Smurfs can come to the other side of the wall. I don't like Smurfs. They sing, they dance, they pick Smurf berries, and a few, I think some of them are really good people. Sorry, you can't have a giant wall in a movie at this point without thinking there's gonna be a Trump reference in there. It has to happen. Did the Smurfs pay for that wall, or did Gargamel pay for that wall? Okay, I'm done. I promise, I'm done. But Hefty, Brady, Clumsy, and Smurfette find a little crack in the wall. They go underneath it, and they go to the other side where this forest is just beautiful. I love the thing with the water where it's like a river, but it's in the air, and it just goes in all these different directions. This is a really cool setup. I just love the animation in this. Definitely keeps you in it. Kind of helps because sometimes, like I said before, the story is very simple, it's very predictable, so at least it's visually fun to look at while you're watching this movie. Papa Smurf eventually finds out that they're gone and goes off to find out where the other Smurfs are. And at this point, I do want to give a little bit of a criticism because we only spend most of the movie with Hefty, Brady, Clumsy, and Smurfette. Papa goes out to look for them. We don't really even follow Papa Smurf's adventure. We just see him eventually find the other Smurfs. I think this could have been a good opportunity to have Papa have his own search team to go find the other Smurfs, and that could have brought in maybe some other Smurfs into the movie, because we see a lot of the Smurfs at the beginning and a lot of Smurfs at the end, but in the middle, it's just those four Smurfs and Papa. So I think if Papa Smurf was looking for the other Smurfs, it might have been cool to bring Jokey along, or Vanny along, or Farmer, or Nosy, or Lazy, or whatever. Just some other Smurfs that could have made that part of a story added to this movie to just give a little bit of balance. Nosy Smurf is hilarious, dude. Like, just every time someone's talking, he just pops up, what's going on in here? And they're like, get out of here, Nosy. He's like, all right. I really liked him. Grouchy Smurf has a cool scene in this. I'm glad they gave some love to Grouchy. Jokey Smurf is in this, so it was cool to see him. There's even a Smurf that eats tables. I don't know what that was all about. Some of these Smurfs may not be too bright. I'm glad that we got to see at least some cameos of other Smurfs. I hope that if they do a sequel, or if they possibly do a series based off of these types of Smurfs, then maybe we'll get to see more of the Smurfs. Gargamel, you know, Rainn Wilson was fine as Gargamel. I'm still old school Gargamel with my nostalgia. I'm even still, to a certain extent, Hank Azaria Gargamel. I think that Hank Azaria was the best part of those two Smurfs movies. When you hear people talking about this movie and they say that it's really aimed for kids, it's mostly the Gargamel parts. The Smurfs play like the Smurfs usually have always played in the cartoons and the comics. And Smurfette is actually being a little bit upgraded because she's trying to figure out who she is, and we get a little bit more about her as a character than we ever did in previous Smurf iterations. But Gargamel, which has always been this evil wizard and kind of stupid, but still evil, here he's played very, very joke-like. Gargamel is played down to not make him seem as scary, and I would have liked Gargamel to be like the Gargamel of the past. But that's not in the performance, that was more in just how he was made as a character. But there is one part with him that I thought was really funny, where he gets knocked off into the river, and he's all like, I'm drowning, and they're like, we should save him. He's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And they're like, no, we shouldn't save him. Don't listen to him. Like, he's commentating while they're having this conversation of if they should save Gargamel or not. Of course, they're the Smurfs, so they go back and help, and they save Gargamel. He's holding on to their raft, and he's like, oh, thank you so much. You're kind, you're so sweet, very cool, you're good at hearts, but I am still evil, so whap! And I thought that was really funny. I thought that was a really cool thing, because I was like, yep, that's classic Gargamel right there. But eventually we do find that lost village, and yes, as it's already been shown in the trailers, in the commercials, The Lost Village is a village of female Smurfs. For all these years that we didn't think female Smurfs existed in the world of Smurfs, other than the ones that were created by Gargamel, like Smurfette and then Sassette. I don't know where Nanny came from, that we just accepted her. And I thought it was a cool way to do something that Smurfs has needed to do for a long time. Smurfs have never had a lot of female Smurfs, and Vexy didn't work, I'm sorry. So it was great to be able to put a bunch of female Smurfs in the world of Smurfs, and to have a logical reason for it that doesn't affect the canon of Smurfs as we've seen before. So everything about Smurfs that we know, with them being the 99 guys and 1 female, still applies. Nothing has changed. It's just there's been this entire village the whole time that we didn't know about that had the female Smurfs that we're now finding out in this story. So it's a great way of taking a new concept, doing something modern, but at the same time, keeping the canon the way it was up to this point, so you're not changing the history of Smurfs, you're just adding something new to it. That is the way that you try to do something where you want to make something new and keep something that's already existed. Sony and other studios that have properties where they've tried to do that in the past and it didn't work. Not naming any names. But you probably know what I'm talking about. SmurfWillow, she's basically like Mama Smurf. She's played by Julia Roberts. We get SmurfLily, who's played by Ariel Winter. She's kind of the sweet, kind Smurf that kind of is the introductory Smurf, or like the one that introduces the Smurfs to these new female Smurfs. You get SmurfBlossom, who's played by Ellie Kemper, and she's, of course, the silly, crazy, loud, and joyous one. Like, you know, like she's basically Kimmy Schmidt as a Smurf. She's Kimmy Smurf, Unbreakable Kimmy Smurf. And I love that since the Smurfs had the song La 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 La, she comes out with, you know our song? Hey, 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 hey. And so I was like, all right, that's a cute little joke. And yeah, I thought it was cute that all the female Smurfs were named after flowers. Like, part of me still kind of wish that they had personality names, but I know they're trying to do something a little bit different. But, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I used to draw some fan art back in the day. I actually used to make up my own female Smurfs, and so I had like Smarty Smurfette, and Strong Smurfette, and Silly Smurfette. So, okay. That's why I didn't write this thing. Let's go with the flowers. SmurfStorm, voiced by Michelle Rodriguez, the Smurf and the Furious. She's like just a straight up, I don't trust these outsiders. I want to hit them with a bow and arrow. You know, she's like the hardcore, you know, gangsta Smurf, basically. And she's also pretty suspicious of Smurfette when she realized that Smurfette was a creation of Gargamel and not an actual Smurf, which plays a lot into this story. The big thing about Smurfette is not only does she not know what her role is, because all the other Smurfs have names based on their personality. She doesn't know where to fit. She like tries to hang out with Grouchy Smurf and be Grouchy. Doesn't work. She tries to do karate like Karate Smurf. That doesn't work. So that's one of her issues. And her other issue is that she's not a real Smurf. And she even hears other Smurfs talking about it from time to time, that she was created by Gargamel. So she doesn't feel like she's a flesh and blood Smurf like the others. So I thought it was a very interesting two-part deal that she was dealing with. And it gets even more interesting when she finds the village of female Smurfs, because all the female Smurfs have particular personalities and are able to do things like shoot bow and arrows, ride dragonflies, and she doesn't know how to do that, but they have a little bit of a montage to show that Smurfette is learning all these different things from these other female Smurfs and is starting to gain some abilities of herself. And I don't know how it took 3 Smurf movies to do this, but the song that they play during Smurfette's montage, can you take a wild guess? I'm blue, da ba dee da boo da 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 ba dee da boo da. I know, it's lame, but 3 Smurf movies, you'd think they would have played I'm Blue by now. Like that was like the quintessential song to play for the Smurfs. so it finally played. There's actually a lot of pop music in this. That's the one thing that sometimes would take me out of the movie a little bit, because instead of them playing like orchestra music or something like that, or music that's kind of similar to the old Smurfs cartoon, they have a lot of pop music in it. They don't really make reference to it, the Smurfs don't, so it's kind of just more background music than it is trying to modernize the Smurfs, but I think it should be noted. Although there's a cute little fun dance sequence, and there's a saxophone, there's actually a saxophone Smurf. Although there is this one time, there is a Smurf that's a saxophone Smurf. He must watch Deadpool recently, because he just walks by one time and is going, I was like, God dang it. You just couldn't resist, could you, Smurfs? And then when these female Smurfs are in trouble, it's up to Smurfette, of course, to save the day. And I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say that if you saw the Power Rangers movie, there might be a moment in the Smurfs movie that will remind you of the recent Power Rangers movie. And then there's a moment that happens after that kind of is a reminder of the '95 Power Rangers movie. Not the Smurfs and Smurfs 2 live action CGI hybrid. It is definitely more authentic to the Smurfs comics and cartoons. But then the pieces of Smurfs that needed to be updated for this generation, like the Smurfette story and having female Smurfs that weren't creations of Gargamel, that weren't there to be evil. You know, I love that all that happened. So I think it was really good. I would like to see what happens more with this world of Smurfs. If they do it again, sequel or series, that we just have maybe a different type of story that fits even more in the Smurfs world, and we can bring in more of the references to Smurfs lore into this. Maybe get some Hogatha or some Big Mouth. Wild Smurf might still be out there floating around in the trees. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe the Snorks. Even though they're not officially part of the Smurfs universe, whatever. It's the movies. They can do it. Put Snorks in there. If you could breathe underwater, where would you go? If you had friends underwater, who would you know? Come along with the, have some fun with the, come along with the Snorks. I'm done. Let me know if you're gonna see this movie, and if there's ever a movie that you want me to talk about, present or past, always feel free to suggest it. Thank you so much for watching this channel, and if you are new here, please subscribe to this channel because I make silly, nerdy videos all the time. Also, ring that bell so you're notified of future videos that I make. I got some Riverdale coming up. I got some Ninja Turtles coming up. It's gonna be a lot of fun on this channel over the next few days, so make sure you stay tuned. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000 Smurf Chomp. Yomp.